The clap. We're here. Hello, everyone. Welcome in. It is episode 27 of the Burnt Rubber Racing Podcast. You know, that show where we crack jokes to act like we're funny, talk NASCAR, talk IndyCar. We talk racing around here. Give you some betting, some DFS advice. I am Henry John. I'm joined, as I always am, by Zach McAdoo. How are you doing, sir? You've got your Tyler Reddick hat on for those watching live along with us on the FlurrySports YouTube and Periscope. I've got apparently it's an Alabama hat, is what you told me before the show.
I am blind.
Zach freaked out before the show. Calling my Braves hat an Alabama hat. What are we doing here, man?
Okay, so let's explain. Apparently, I'm blind and need new glasses because I thought his hat was all red. And for those of you who don't know me, I'm a Florida Gator fan. And this week, it is Bama versus Florida. And it's all Gators this week, baby.
I forgot about that matchup, actually. So you thought I was coming in here hardcore trolling you. No, I'm not that mean.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
I'm a diehard Ole Miss fan, though. I thought you actually knew me. Apparently, co-hosts are just getting acquainted with one another. It's only episode 27. I mean, you know, we're doing a good job here. Burnt Rubber Racing, the podcast. Follow us, subscribe, wherever you get yours. Zach, we had a busy week of racing last week. And we've got another busy one, even busier actually, with the trucks getting thrown in there as well, coming up. We're going to recap the week that was at Richmond with NASCAR. We got some IndyCar action from Portland. And we got a whole bunch of news and notes. Of course, the bombshell coming this week in the world of motorsports was NASCAR releasing the 2022 Cup Series schedule. So we'll dive into that with some of our thoughts and reactions. And then we are off to the last great Coliseum, Bristol Motor Speedway, to preview the Bass Pro Shops NRA night race, the final race in the round of 16 of the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs. And we've got DFS advice. We've got betting picks. We got it all lined up for you. We'll probably even talk a little IndyCar action there at Monterey at the end of the show. So stay tuned for that as well. Zach, your initial thoughts on the Cup Series race that was at Richmond Raceway. I'm not going to waste any time here. Martin Truex Jr. overcomes adversity once again. I feel like this team has a penalty they have to overcome every week, or something goes wrong for them, right? Well, the 19 car was so fast it didn't matter at Richmond Raceway. Martin Truex Jr. gets the win in the second playoff race, locks up his spot moving forward into the round of 12. And, I mean, if you want to know my off-the-jump observation before you share your first thoughts here, it's Joe Gibbs Racing is owning this first round of the playoffs.
Yeah, and the other thing you can really say about the race at Richmond is...
God, yeah, that too. Really.
I mean, that was...
Yeah, it was tough to watch.
And usually we like short track racing, but I don't know what it was. Richmond was not that short track racing. The only thing really memorable from the race is Kurt Busch's spin, which I didn't like because I do like Kurt Busch, and it puts him under the cut line right now, as he would be out of the tiebreaker with Alex Bowman.
Yes, you are right, I think, on that. I don't know. We'll jump into the standings here in a second and shore up all those loose ends as we head to the final race before the first cuts are made in the playoffs. But yeah, I mean, basically, like you said, Richmond was pretty much a snooze fest during the Federated Auto Parts 400. You know, I said to you before we got on the air here, it was Richmond spring all over again, right? There just wasn't that late caution. And then you have the wild restart, and Alex Bowman comes out of nowhere with those pumped up tires to get the win. That was what saved the Richmond spring race. Other than that, that one was pretty much a bore, at least as far as I was concerned as well. So Richmond, you know, struggling to keep fan interest, and it got shuffled around on the schedule for next year, although a lot of people think it should lose a race. Are you one who falls into that camp after this debacle?
Yeah, there's two sides of this coin of should it lose a race date, which I think you have to give it another year with the next-gen cars. And if you are going to replace it, what do you replace it with? I can't name a track that right now you can replace it with because you can't. I don't think they want to go back to Iowa. North Wilkesboro needs a lot of work. Rockingham, they lost a local race, I want to say, because the track wasn't ready. So right now, what do you replace it with?
Yeah, that is a good point. I know Dover lost a race this year, so I don't know. Maybe you throw another one at Dover, the Monster Mile there. Not sure. That one kind of seems like it's hit or miss at times as well. At any rate, though, let's dive back into this race recap here. At least the points, the few we can pull from this race. So Truex got the win, as we said. Denny Hamlin, though, off of his win in the Southern 500, he led a whole lot of laps in this race. Stage win, and he winds up runner-up. If not for Truex, Hamlin, I think, cruises to his second straight win here. And Christopher Bell makes it a JGR sweep. On the podium, he takes home third. Chase Elliott fourth. Joey Logano rounds out the top five. Your thoughts on those five front runners? I think, again, the trend is clear. Joe Gibbs Racing. We knew kind of coming into the playoffs, right? These are tracks that their drivers do really well on, and so far they are taking care of business at places you would expect them to, I would say, right?
Yeah, I mean, we had Joe Gibbs Racing 1, 2, 3, 4 for most of that race. Kyle Busch kind of got a couple speeding penalties that really screwed him out of it. So, I mean, we could have saw our second 1, 2, 3, 4 finish in a season where it hasn't happened since out of the same team, where it hasn't happened since 2005. I mean,
yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, but I'm just ready to look past this. So let's get into the Xfinity Series race, where the better number 9 got his second win in a row as Noah Gregson wins at Richmond, burned the tires completely to the rim. I am debating on pre-ordering that sucker right there, especially with the 911 sticker on it.
There it is. I mean, what else do I even need to say? Noah Gregson. Zach is so excited. He's jumping right into Xfinity. Back-to-back wins for Gregson. The first one was long overdue. He wastes no time at all getting the second one, taking home the win in the Xfinity Series race here at Richmond. And as I flip over to the results of this one here, we got Justin Haley second. John Hunter Nemechek jumping up, running the Xfinity race this past weekend. He takes third. Justin Allgaier fourth. Zach, I got to point this one out to you here, though. Riley Herbst, top 5 finish. You've been calling him out a little bit on this show here in recent weeks, and kind of it feels like all season long. We'll take that, right? Maybe you're going to make a run here at the playoffs, you think? We'll jump into the standings in a second, but, he kind of made you eat crow here, not going to lie.
Yeah, I mean, for 1 week, yeah, he made me eat crow, but, I mean, that's his first top 5 finish all year, where you go back to last season, this car had 9 wins, and it was in the championship 4. So, I mean, I don't think
I got nothing on that one.
I mean, you can throw all the fact he got a top 5 out, but this should be a regular top 5 car instead of this being his first, I believe. I'll look it up because I have the standings up. Maybe.
All right. While you're doing that.
Okay, it's 3 top 5s, but still 3 top 5s out of 25 starts. Briscoe had 4 wins by now, at least.
So you're saying Chase Briscoe's a better driver than Riley Herbst?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Just want to make sure that was.
And the other point I want to get across, and going back to Gregson, he was fighting to even get in at the points. I shouldn't say fighting, because he was about 10th. And with his last 2 wins, he's now up to 6th in the regular driver standings as of now. But when you convert it to the playoff points, he's going to be 4th.
9 cars making moves. Chase Elliott was fast at Richmond this week too. He had to fight his way back from being a lap down. So we got to give the Chase Elliott fans some love. You weren't very nice to them last week, and you really jumped the gun on him again this week. You couldn't wait to get that Gregson win there. Chase Elliott was fast, but he didn't win. Gregson got back-to-back. Chase Elliott hadn't done that all year. I will say that. There's one other name. We have to jump back to the Cup Series for a second. because he's not a part of the playoffs. So we're not going to be talking about him here as we transition over to the standings. We were both high on him, and he did it again. That's my boy, Ross Chastain, another top 10 finish, picking up the slack for Kurt Busch, who I still can't quite figure out how that tire went down, to be honest with you. That was one of the more bizarre tire flattenings I have seen in racing. I'll say that. And they were confused by it in his crew, trying to figure it out after the fact as well. But Ross Chastain picks up the slack for Chip Ganassi Racing, driving in the top 5 for a whole lot of that race. He comes in 7th, back-to-back top 10s. We're making it 3 in a row this week, right?
I think so. I mean, you got to ride with their hot hand, right?
Absolutely. Getamoose.org. Love the paint scheme. Good stuff. That's a good organization too. If you don't know Getamoose.org, Zach, you should go check them out. You should not get a moose. Is it be a moose? I can't remember. Get a moose or be a moose. Anyway, you should be a moose. They're good stuff. Good charity. All right, let's look at some standings here. So we'll start with Cup. Of course, Denny Hamlin, Martin Truex Jr. are 2 winners so far here in the round of 16. They are locked into the round of 12, and they could just kind of ride around in a circle if they wanted to at Bristol this week. I don't think either of them is going with the intention to do that. Kyle Larson is also secured his way into the round of 12, and he's done it on points. Which, by the way, Zach, I do have to throw that out there too. Richmond knew coming in that was not Larson's best track. It wasn't the best track for Hendrick Motorsports. And Larson still goes out and finishes 6th. It's every week. The 5 car is the car to beat.
And I guess I was wrong in my DFS picks when I said he's either going to win the race and would lead a lot of laps, or he's going to go to the back and just not come back to the field, which it started the race to look good because he had to go to the back for failing tackle.
But he came roaring back up through. So, and that's just the kind of season Larson's been having. Even when the track or whatever is stacked against him, he has a penalty, whatever, they're able to overcome it. And when they're not winning, they're still throwing down really solid runs. So he has nothing to worry about at Bristol here this weekend either.
I mean, he did get a win because he's already clinched in the next round.
Yeah. Yepper. Continuing here, let's see in the standings. So we've got Joey Logano in 4th, Ryan Blaney. Kevin Harvick is all the way up to 6th. I think that's really interesting, given where he started coming into the playoffs. He had the fewest playoff points of anyone. Harvick's looking pretty good here as we head to Bristol. You're the resident Kevin Harvick fan. Currently, let me count them up here, 25 points to the good on the cut line. How are we feeling with one race to go? We good for the round of 12? I mean, we kind of both thought, I think he could point his way through at least this first round or two.
Yeah, I mean, in my head, I knew it was either going to be the 4 or the 8 moving on, and it kind of is looking like that as of right now. Knock on wood, because I don't want to jinx in case it does happen Saturday. But I think Harvick is safe. Knock on wood. We don't know, but I think he's outperformed what he did in the regular season so far.
Yeah, I would agree with you. Another solid run for him at Richmond, coming in 8th. That followed up, of course, his top 5 in the Southern 500. So Kevin Harvick sitting pretty good. Chase Elliott, who, like we said, he was fast at Richmond, but, of course, he struggled at Darlington. He's 7th, though. He's 19 points to the good over the cut line here at this point. Christopher Bell, off his top 3 run, comes in 8th. Brad Keselowski, 9th. And then we get it's really bunched up here. Keselowski's 13 points above the cut line. But, after that, you're looking at 5-6 drivers here who they all are going to have to go for broke this week at Bristol. Kyle Busch is 8 points to the good. Eric Almirola, 3 points to the good is all. And then you got Kurt Busch and Alex Bowman are locked in a dead heat. Kurt Busch would advance based on having the best finish in this round as of now. And so that leaves below the cut line, entering Bristol, Alex Bowman, Tyler Reddick, 5 points back, William Byron, he is 18 points behind, and then Michael McDowell, who, I mean, I don't know if I've ever seen anyone have like 2-3 pit road speeding penalties. I feel like he had 3 back-to-back-to-back. Like he was – feel for that 34 team. But, you know, a win at Bristol, and Michael McDowell could still move on to the round of 12. He's not out of it yet.
That is a long if,
mathematically, but a win, and he will steal a spot. Don't count him out just yet, folks. Zach, help me break down these standings here. Who are you looking at? Who stands out to you? Give me 2 or 3 guys, and maybe some predictions. Well, we'll save that. Just give me 2 or 3 guys that stand out to you here after this Richmond race, either for good or for bad.
I think. Okay, I'm just gonna. I don't want to ignore what you said, but like I think I have a better way of doing this. No offense. I think Bell.
I mean, I'm known to screw things up, so please.
Yeah. I think
let's do it your way.
Bell and above is safe, and we can maybe include Kozlowski in there.
All right.
Kyle Busch down. You're in the bubble. You're in the worry zone. And I feel like Kyle Busch, as long as everything goes okay, nothing's as long as he drives his race and he gets decent Joe Gibbs equipment, we'll say, he should be fine.
All right. And we'll get to Kyle Busch and Bristol drawn.
Oh yeah, Kyle.
When we get to the preview, like there's plenty to talk about there. But yeah, I agree with you.
Eric Almirola he's 3 points above. If he's gonna survive, he's got to get points in the first 2 stages, because right behind him he has Kurt Busch and Alex Bowman, who both have, I shouldn't say better equipment, but this year at least it seems like they both have better equipment, because SHR has been down.
The Chevys have been fast, yeah. I think overall compared to the Fords, for sure, we're well documented that throughout the year. So
Reddick is right there too. I feel like Reddick isn't out of it yet, and that could be just my bias, because, well, obviously, and the fact that Bristol, there's something about that high line at Bristol, and there's someone who loves that high line. So maybe not count Larson. Yeah, that's very good. You want a cookie? But no, he very well could point his way in. I wouldn't count him out yet, but Byron and McDowell, I feel like both of them, you are in absolute must-win territory.
You're calling it a must-win even for Byron here.
Yes. 18 down. Okay. 18 down, you are either hoping for someone above you. Right now, you're hoping for Kurt Busch to blow a tire early again. Mm-hmm. And you have to somehow point your way in.
Okay. All right. So a couple things to follow up with you on that. I liked your way of doing it better. I think you just, pretty much called it like it is. I think kind of when I was running through them initially, right? Like the Kyle Busch, Eric Almirola, Kurt Busch, Alex Bowman, Tyler Reddick, and I'm throwing William Byron in there. I don't think it's must win just yet for him, but like you said, he's going to need a break or two to go his way. I think in terms of other guys struggling, Tyler Reddick, I don't know if it's your bias or your worry. You're like, you think he's still there. He's fully still there to me. He's 5 points back. Like he's in this thing. We'll see how he does. Obviously, he finished 4th in this race a year ago, so he's been able to pull out a solid finish at Bristol before. And like you said, the high line, maybe he can make that work this week. I'm going to say William Byron's still in it, but, I mean, the track record at Bristol isn't great for him, so I don't love saying that, but I'm going to say Michael McDowell is the only one in must-win territory for now. I don't think he gets that win. I think Michael McDowell goes home. I'm assuming you agree with me. You got to give us some picks, though. Who are the other 3 that you have getting knocked out after this race? Without spoiling your race winner, you can't spoil any of that because we're still going to get to that later in the show.
My race winner is down here. I think it's going to be McDowell. McDowell, I think we both of us before could have said, yeah, he's going home. I think Byron, like I said, he's in must-win territory, and I just said he's not winning. He's going home. Maybe what you just said, you talked me into taking him, but right now, I think Almirola falls out. He'll be a 3rd one, and then the last one. This is what hurts, because I do you have my 2nd favorite guy, my 3rd favorite guy, and my 4th favorite guy. One of them has to go home, and right now, based on the way the team has been driving so far in the playoffs, I think Alex Bowman and his 3 wins go home.
You got Bowman going home.
Yeah.
All right.
And you with what you said after, you talked me into taking Reddick. I
knew that's where you were going.
Because I've been after last week's race, like, yeah, this is not looking good. He needed something at Darlington, didn't get it, and Richmond wasn't even better. I think he finished lap down, and so Bristol.
Yeah, very kind of like just mediocre performances so far out of that 8 team. I think, though, anything can happen here at Bristol. Saw him throw down last fall again. So we will see how that shakes out. Who would have thought that 2 Hendrick drivers would potentially be on the brink? I mean, even going into the final race of this round, they are sitting below the cut line. That's been the dominant team all year. And William Byron has been like one of the most consistent drivers. And it's all come back to bite him in the butt here, it seems like, in the playoffs.
Yeah, real quick.
What do you got before we jump to the Xfinity?
Real quick. Someone did say, like, yeah, Hendrick peaked. Hendrick was all in at the middle of the season. They were hot. Joe Gibbs worked on catching up, and they have caught him at the right time. And they have absolutely been faster. They've been they are the team to beat right now.
So projecting forward beyond just this first round where they have, these tracks kind of set up well for JGR. I think anyone could have said that coming in. Do you think it stays this way? Do you think JGR are they the prohibitive favorites to have one of their drivers bring home the championship at this point? Assuming Alex Bowman survives and there's at least 3 Hendrick cars going forward, do you think Hendrick is going to rebound and kind of reassert their dominance?
Like I said last week, if you're talking about winning a championship, you have to know how to run Phoenix. And JGR, I would give the nod to JGR over Hendrick. Because besides Chase Elliott, I don't think anyone else on Hendrick has a win at Phoenix. And when you look at the JGR, Truex won there in the spring. Busch has won there before. Well, this was I coined it. It was Busch's track when they changed the layout. And Hamlin has won at Phoenix before. So you compare the 3 of them to what Hendrick's 3 could be moving forward, depending on how Bowman ends up. And I think you have to look at JGR and say, yeah, they have a better chance of winning than Hendrick.
Yeah, all right. Over or under? How tough do I want to make this on you? Over or under 1.5 JGR cars in the championship 4?
I gotta say under. I don't.
Under? Okay. Guess I don't have to ask 2.5.
So I still feel, and even though I had Byron in my championship 4 when I did the article, which that's not looking too good right now. So
that futures ticket. Oof.
I mean, something's going to happen with JGR, and they are not going to point their win. I said Kyle. I was the one who said Kyle's not going to make it past around 12. Something's going to happen there. So I only saw 2 of them going to the round of 8 because I had Bell out here, but it looks like Bell's moving on. So just messed me up with that.
You don't have to explain this one. Over under 1.5 Hendrick Motorsports cars in the championship 4.
Under.
Okay.
I think we're going to get 4 different teams.
I'm here for it. Let's jump to Xfinity after their Richmond race. Like Zach said, Noah Gregson has jumped up here the last 2 weeks with those back-to-back wins. He's now 6th in the points and in playoff points 4th. I'm just parroting what he said earlier. AJ Allmendinger leads the point standings, but he remains behind Austin Cindric in terms of playoff points. So your top 5 in the standings. Entering this week is the final race of the regular season for the Xfinity Series. So your top 5 entering Bristol: Austin Cindric, AJ Allmendinger, Justin Allgaier, Noah Gregson, and Justin Haley. And again, that is based on playoff points. Where we care about, though, knowing that the regular season comes to an end this week, is down around the playoff cut line. And Zach, I don't know, how much drama do we really have? Myatt Snyder's 12th in points overall, but he has that win, so he's safe. Jeremy Clements, Riley Herbst, they're separated by 8 points, but it is a long way down from Herbst to Michael Annett, who, of course, missed 4 races this year due to injuries. And that's got to win Bristol. I don't think there's any other way to say it unless Herbst goes out of this race on lap 1 and Annette has stage wins and everything else. Maybe there's a mathematical shot. I don't know how to do that quick a math in my head, but it's going to take a new winner to upset the playoff field of 12, as far as I can tell. And you were just saying mathematically that is the only way.
Mathematically, without a win, the highest amount of points you can get is 55. And Herbst is up by 60 right now. So you have to win if you're a net or below, and I don't see anyone doing that. I think it's going to be one of the guys who is in the playoffs with getting a win. So good luck next year.
I would tend to lean that direction, I think, as well. And so we'll see what shakes out. Maybe we have a surprise, though. Who knows? The Truck Series will also be in action at Bristol this week.
Tonight.
And, of course,
as we're recording this, it's going to be tonight.
It's in a few hours, actually. Thursday night race. Thursday for the Trucks, Friday for Xfinity, Saturday for Cup. So their playoffs will be continuing. And, I mean, Sheldon Creed's won the first 2 races. So he's looking pretty good there. And we'll catch up those standings next week after we have a race to talk about in there as well.
It's their final round of 10 race. I mean, it's their final race of the round of 10. So we might as well just wait till next week to talk about it that way, because people are going to be looking back and expecting us to talk about the trucks, and it's going to be a disappointment if we have the previous stuff.
The cut line battle to watch, you've got Austin Hill leading Zane Smith by 5 points. So only 2 drivers eliminated in trucks the first round anyway, because there are only 10 of them in the playoffs. Austin Hill has a 5-point lead on Zane Smith. Carson Hocevar is only 8 points to the good. So those are the 3 hovering right around that cut line to keep an eye on during the truck race at Bristol, which will have already happened by the time this show goes on the air. So I don't even know why I said that, but enjoy it. IndyCar was in action last week, though, Zach. We got one more race to breeze through here, and Alex Palou reassumes the championship points lead. There was a major pileup right in the very first turn on lap 1. Guys were going everywhere, and you know what? Alex Palou and his Chip Ganassi teammate Scott Dixon, they decided to pit under the early yellow as the field was getting all resorted and everything. IndyCar had to work out their scoring and whatever to figure out who was supposed to be where. And they pitted, and they worked the pit stop to strategy to perfection. They were able to turn some fast lap times when other cars went into the pits later in the race ahead of them. Alex Palou comes out of Portland with the win, back on top in the point standings. Alexander Rossi, Scott Dixon, Jack Harvey, Joseph Newgarden round out your top 5 from the Portland Grand Prix point standings. Palou started that race behind Pato O'Ward, and he is now 25 points ahead after this race. O'Ward was having power issues. I'm not exactly sure what was wrong with that car. He was losing a bunch of time, losing positions on the front stretch. It seemed like every single lap toward the end of this race. He doesn't get a good finish at all. So Alex Palou with the championship points lead, O'Ward 25 back. You've got Joseph Newgarden climbing up into 3rd in the standings. He is now 34 back. Scott Dixon in 4th. He would be, 49 back. And then Marcus Ericsson, barely hanging on at this point. But you've got double points in that last race of the season. So you never know. He is currently 75 points out. Graham Rahal was in the lead in this race for a good portion of it. And a win really would have kept his championship hopes alive even. Unfortunately, he was on the wrong end of the pit strategy. Your thoughts on IndyCar? Alex Palou assuming this lead. Is he going to surrender it again? Misfortune definitely hit this team the 2 races prior to Portland.
No, but I think what I do want to point out is Newgarden and that team has definitely rebounded since the start of the season. They have turned the whole Penske organization has helped turn that team around, and they've got him third in the standings. above Dixon right now.
Yes. Yep.
So, what a rebound for those guys. And, they're still in it. Don't count them out because we have seen wild IndyCar season finishes here in the past few years. So,
yeah, this one's going to be fun. I think Ericsson's a long shot, definitely at this point. But even Scott Dixon's only 6 behind Newgarden here right now. So 15. Sorry, got a little carried away there with saying 6, but he's 15 behind Newgarden. I would say even all the way down to Scott Dixon. Everyone's separated by 50 points here. You never know what can happen, and it's all going to be decided in the next 2 weeks with IndyCar there at Monterey this week, and then season finale at Long Beach. So just 2 races left out west for the open wheel. Zach, I think that takes care of last weekend, but we've got some news and notes to touch on from this week. You want to lead us into that? This Busch Clash thing going to Los Angeles. Give me a break, NASCAR. I already ranted about this last week, so I'm not going to again. But what more do we have on this, please? Spare me.
So officially, the Clash will be held in the LA Coliseum next year with temporary
ridiculous
racetrack inside. They are trying to make it like Cars. If you haven't seen, there's a video on Fox Sports NASCAR. They did post what the track is going to look like. iRacing went and did it. But NASCAR has said that the Clash is open to all teams in NASCAR if they want to go in and race at the LA Coliseum. So I thought that was pretty cool.
So inclusive.
Yeah,
it's LA. We got to do that stuff, right? Yeah.
And also, if you remember, the Clash was only open to pole winners previously. This year they opened it up to stage winners too. So why not open it up to all the teams when you can't really have pole winners because you only do qualifying for 8 races?
Yeah, that was stupid too. So I guess they had to do something. But yeah, I'm just gonna.
They are expected to bring back qualifying next year. But
usually you're Mr. Negative on this show, and I feel like that's me for this segment. But moving on.
Yeah, it'd be a trend. Anyways, speaking of next year, you had to cut off my cutoff. My throw in, whatever you want to call it. My lead in. I can't speak. Shut up. So
cut off my cutoff. Okay.
Shut up. So next season, the schedule is out. Like we said, the Clash is there. We get the Daytona 500 2 weeks after the Clash. The Clash is actually during the NFL season, if you will, because it's during the Super Bowl off week. But I
gotta watch the Pro Bowl, so
do you?
Never mind.
So
bad joke.
Yeah. So next year we get Worldwide Technology Raceway coming into the Cup Series next year. We have the first Easter race in, I want to say, since the 80s. I think 89 was the last time they raced on Easter. And we are getting an Easter night race at Bristol Dirt. Homestead Miami Speedway, they are into the playoffs now. They will be the third to last race in the season. I'm all for that. It should have never left the last spot. I don't know why it never left, but it is what it is. And is there anything I'm missing? Pocono loses the race date to bring in Worldwide Technology.
So the Pocono is not a double header.
No, Pocono is just a one-off now.
One race. Okay. All right. I'm going to be completely honest. Obviously, I knew the schedule dropped. I haven't had time to get around to look at the schedule, so I am breezing through it while we are doing this show here and trying to follow along as Zach's rattling off all those highlights. Gotta love Homestead back in the playoffs at the expense of Richmond here, right?
Yes. There's only one off week next year, and it's between the Fox portion of the schedule and the NBC portion of the schedule.
Yeah, and that makes sense, given we don't have to waste time with the nonsense of the Olympic break. Are we running more races next year?
No, it's just 36.
Why does it feel like there's a lot here? Maybe I'm just overwhelmed by all of it. Do you like the Easter race? The dirt? Obviously, I'm not going to ask your opinion on the dirt race. I don't know how big a fan you were of that. But the Easter race, do you like racing Easter night?
No, I don't.
Bristol under the lights is nice, but
I don't think you should be racing on Easter. Personally, I think that's for your family, and I don't know if it's become a tradition, NASCAR tradition, in the eyes of many people. I believe it has. If anything, you should have done it Saturday night. Let them have Sunday with their families, but I'm not a fan of this.
Yeah, the other thing I would point out too, Auto Club makes its way back onto the schedule. The Daytona Road Course, unfortunately, is going bye-bye.
It was never supposed to come off the schedule this year. It's just because of California and the COVID rules. It went off. They're bringing it back in the current format. This is the last race of the old asphalt before it goes bye-bye, and we get a new layout for Auto Club.
Yep, so Auto Club back, Daytona Road Course out. Everything else looks like it pretty much held steady. Of course, Worldwide Technology coming in as well, taking the place of the Pocono doubleheader. What's your favorite change? And what is the one thing you really wanted to see change that was not, and you would change going forward before we move on?
Something that actually I'll bring this up now because why not? This will perfect integration here. I wished IMS Oval, which they intend to go back to the Oval at some point. I told you I was not a fan of the move to the road course to begin with. After what happened this year, I'm still not a fan. I don't know how you could be. Especially with what happened this year. They need to go back to Oval, and you knew that they weren't, but still, I don't know if I was holding out hope or what, but still, I don't want to see the road course back.
I was with you, so
I'm not saying let me get. Also, I like road courses, but stage racing has ruined them to a point.
Yeah, we've talked about that, I think, several times. Like, it's a valid argument. It's just going to be something that we're going to have to see what the sport does going forward. Your favorite change, and then we can integrate whatever you were trying to integrate there.
I did. I said IMS because they intended to go back to Oval. But my favorite change, it has to be the return of Miami.
Your favorite change and screwed up the integration. I like Miami going to the playoffs too. Okay, IMS. What are we integrating? I'm trying to help you out here.
So the integration was that I wish IMS went back to the Oval. IMS does intend to go back to the Oval at some point.
That's the news.
That was the.
Oh, I should read the rundown. Yep.
My co-host, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I'm trying to help him out while sabotaging him at the same time. You know, I totally skipped over that headline, Zach, because the one above it really caught my eye. Quinn Houff, driver of the 00 for Starcom Racing, he's going to be without a ride next year? Question mark. What's the latest here?
Starcom Racing is going bye-bye after this year. They are no longer racing. They have said they are closing their doors after Phoenix this year, and it sucks. You never want to see a race team leave. I think we were both sad seeing LFR and Germain Racing leave last year, but and Go Fast. I can't forget about that because there was three. Those were the three teams that left last year, and with one more leaving, it sucks. But I mean, we have a lot of other teams coming up next year. We have GMS, we have Colleague, we have another 2311 racing team. So the abundance is there. It's just
it's going to be a wild, silly season, I feel like, the next few weeks, and then even after the season, just trying to figure out who's going where with all these new rides, new teams. We don't even know what GMS is doing necessarily at the Cup level yet full-time, do we?
No, but going back to what you just said, I mean, go back to July when it was announced that Trackhouse Racing bought CGR. That was probably the biggest news out of silly season that I can remember.
Mm-hmm.
Someone buying a whole team.
There's going to be a whole lot of drivers looking for rides. Matt DiBenedetto, we don't know what JTG, Doherty, who's going to take that ride, which one's going to be the odd man out. Quinn Houff now. Yeah, I mean, you name it. 2311 and Trackhouse have obviously filled theirs. Justin Haley, we know, is going to be colleague. Who's going to take the part-time Spire car? Are they going to make that a charter team? So many questions, I think, here, and it's going to be fun to track all the news going forward for sure. You know what else is going to be fun, Zach? NASCAR under the lights at Bristol Motor Speedway, the last great Coliseum, home of the Bass Pro Shops NRA night race this Saturday night. It's the final race in the round of 16 of the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs. 4 drivers are going to be eliminated after this. We already detailed the points battle. It's going to be wild. Short track racing is always fun, and you add in the added intensity of this being a cutoff race, and the beating and banging is only going to intensify. Zach, what more can you tell us about the half-mile oval that is Bristol Motor Speedway?
We have to go back for a second because thanks to NASCAR moving the Clash to the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum, can we really call this the last great Coliseum?
Yes. Don't even start with me.
What? You can't tell me that.
Let's talk Bristol. We're not talking about a football stadium that they're going to put a track in.
I mean, Bristol was a football stadium at one time. 2016, the infield was used as playing football surface for the Tennessee Volunteers and Virginia Tech Hokies, and it has the largest attendance ever for an NCAA football game with 156,990 people turning out. That is in the article due to go up. Bristol Motor Speedway.
You're trying to tell me that because I already knew that, but it's good that you told the listeners that, and I hope they do that game again, by the way, but go ahead.
Yeah, I just cut me off again. Bristol Motor Speedway was opened on July 30th, 1961. It has hosted a NASCAR race every year. Every year since. Xfinity, when they started in 1982, they joined the NASCAR Cup Series coming to Bristol, and same with the Truck Series when they in their debut season in 1995. It is a concrete track. I think it's now there's 3 concrete tracks with Bristol, Dover, and Nashville. It is a half. It's a little longer than a half mile at 0.533 miles. You'll see a lot of beating and banging, and a bump and run.
List as many Bristol Motor Speedway nicknames as you can off the top of your head.
Last great Coliseum, the world's fastest half mile. I can't. Why is that the only 2?
The Bull Ring.
I never heard the Bull Ring. When I think of Bull Ring, I think of the Las Vegas track, not Motor Speedway, but the one
Bristol, man.
That they call the actual Bull Ring. Who calls Bristol Motor Speedway the Bull Ring? You're making crap up now.
Me, in an article. Google Bristol Motor Speedway nicknames, folks. The Bull Ring does pop up. At any rate, this place is pretty famous. This is the 60th running of the Bass Pro Shops NRA night race. And, with them taking the Brickyard 400 out, Zach and I debated even with Marty when we had him on the show here back earlier in the season.
Thunder Valley.
You can make a case for this race to be the 4th crown jewel. So good stuff there. Should be a fun one on Saturday night. Zach, we've got a number of drivers who know their way around Bristol, should we say. Kevin Harvick, he leads all drivers when it comes to average finish over the last 10 races. He was the winner of this race a year ago, and he averages a finish of 10.0 flat in the last 10 starts there for him. 7 top 10s. You can add in an 11th, so that's like practically a top 10. And a pair of wins for Harvick. Joey Logano just behind, average finish of 10.2. No wins, though, in his last 10 starts. Denny Hamlin, average finish of 10.8. He won this race back in 2019, and he has 3 top 3s over the last 10 races. Chase Elliott, 12.1. Kurt Busch won this race back in 2018. Interesting to see him up there in terms of average finish, 12.7 for the elder Busch brother. And then there he is. You just can't get rid of this guy. Kyle Larson, average finish of 12.9. He didn't run here last year, of course, because he wasn't driving last year. But in 2018, he finished runner-up both races, driving for Chip Ganassi. A little bit of a bump up in equipment, I'd say, this year, and just overall season for Larson with Hendrick Motorsports. He's going to be a factor come Saturday night. Eric Jones is the last driver with an average finish of 13.0 or better. And of course, we talk about it every time when we see Eric Jones on this list, right? He's not in JGR equipment anymore. But I went back and looked, Zach. Richard Petty Motorsports hasn't been that bad at this track. So that was something to note. We'll see, Eric Jones and this team haven't had a ton of momentum. But Jones was 5th and 3rd in the 2 races here, respectively, last year, and 4 top 5s across 8 starts with JGR. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on the 43, I think, this week, because the driver's shown an ability to get around there, and the team has shown an ability to get it done with other drivers as well. In the past, any one of those names you would like to discuss? Anyone else you would like to throw in there as we talk some stats and get set to jump into some DFS here for this night race?
I think I'm just ready to get in DFS if you are.
I concur. Let's do it.
Okay, so first off, we're recording this, and we talked about this before the show. I'm looking at no starting spots for any of the drivers, if you can see that there. So I'm going in blind. I usually like to pick based on starting position because I like guys who can go through the field and gain points. I have no idea what I'm looking at right now because FanDuel has neglected to provide this for us. So I'm not going to – if you guys want to cross-reference, you guys can cross-reference. I'm going at it in the dark. But
I can actually say he's not lying. The starting spots aren't up for me. It's not a Zach McAdee problem. The entire starting lineup for the race is available in table form over on FlurrySports.org, though. You get some nice stats in that article, too. Just go check it out. Shameless plug. Go ahead.
Yeah, I like the plug in there. But I am going to go with – I think you were right in taking Kevin Harvick. Something's there. This team's figured it out for the playoffs, and we'll just roll forward with them. One guy – we talked earlier. You convinced me, and this is why he's in my lineup as of right now, Tyler Reddick. Something about that highlight. I
convinced you to back, your 1A favorite driver. Wow. Wow,
and
Zach.
1B.
But
and 1B.
Please tell us why.
That highlight works so good for Reddick. Something about it just makes me love him even more. But the guy who I think I'll wait on my pick. We'll just send it over to your betting page. Actually, no, we have to go with guys to avoid. Forgot about that. Hold on here. Ignore whatever the comments say, because forget him. I'm guessing Truex starts on the pole. I don't like him here because
he does.
Yeah. Something about him here, he usually fades, and I don't think he's going to back up what he did last week. Maybe a top 10, but if you're starting on the pole, you're still losing points there.
That is something I found interesting just looking at driver numbers here from the past. Truex has clearly improved as a short track racer overall, right? But not at Bristol. He still continues to struggle here. No finish, even in the last 7 starts for him. No finish better than 13th. 5 of them 20th or worse. 1 top 10 in the last 10 starts for Truex at Bristol. So this place he hasn't quite figured out like he has Richmond, Martinsville, some of those other short tracks.
And then concrete. I'm going based on the last 2 races here. I don't think Alex Bowman, I said it earlier, I don't think he makes it out of the round of 16. I don't think he does well this week. I would not put him in your FanDuel lineup this week.
All right. So Bowman is $9,000 on the salary. Truex, $12,000. Who are these other guys here? Kevin Harvick was $11,000, and Tyler Reddick was the other one Zach put out there as a guy he wants in this week, $8,500. Kyle Larson is the highest price driver at $14K, Zach. Kyle Busch is second at $13,500. Denny Hamlin third, $13,000. I think I have to feel like you agree with me. All 3 of those guys are probably going to run very well on Saturday night. So if I'm playing DFS this weekend and I am looking to take one of those high-priced guys in my lineup. Which one would it be for you?
Kyle Busch. This is his track.
And how about a value play? I mean, Ross Chastain sitting there at 9,500. I don't know if that qualifies for a value play when he's already more expensive than Reddick, who you gave out earlier. You got anything in the bargain bin for the listeners here?
You know, when you start talking about Erik Jones having a second and third place finish at this track last year, I think you got to roll with him. Fifth and third.
Did I say second? I'm sorry.
Yeah, you told me second, so it's on you. But something about him. Usually, when I say take him, he does bad. But I don't. This is it. If he does not do well this week, I am not taking him as a value pick for the rest of the year. The 43 Richard Petty Motorsports, they right the ship.
All right, so 5,500 for Erik Jones. He was 5th and 3rd at Bristol last year in the 2 races. I went and looked at Bubba Wallace. Bubba Wallace was top 10 in the first race here last year, driving the current car that Erik Jones drives for Richard Petty Motorsports. So they can get it done. Bubba Wallace was also in 2019. He was 14th in this race, the second Bristol race.
What did Matty D do here last season?
Matt DiBenedetto, I know his average finish by heart. It's 17.5 over the last 10. Last year, he was 31st and 19th. However, he was runner-up in the Bass Pro Shops NRA night race in 2019.
Yeah, that's why I remember
runner-up to Denny Hamlin.
Yeah, and that's when everyone became, well, majority of people became Matty D fans because of what happened in that race.
Well, I just like him now because he works out. Zach didn't tell me he's avid in fitness. Now I love him even more. Let's jump over to betting here, Zach. Good stuff with the DFS, as always. The highest priced DFS driver contradicts the betting favorite, though, to win this race. And I find that very interesting because usually these mirror each other like clockwork every single week. But Kyle Busch is your DraftKings betting favorite, odds on for an outright victory at 4-1. Kyle Larson, though, just behind, plus 450. Although any week Kyle Larson isn't a favorite, it is worth noting. Denny Hamlin, 6-1. Chase Elliott, 8-1. Joey Logano, 10-1. I guess we'll throw Kevin Harvick in there too at 11-1. Those are your top 6. Those would be considered your favorites according to what the odds makers in the market have here. I have a feeling your pick to win is in that group, but I'm not going to steal your thunder. Who you eyeing there amongst the heavyweights this week?
Should I say my pick to win this right here, or should we wait?
We can wait. We can tease.
But my pick to win yet is in the top 6 there.
Okay. All right. So we'll keep moving along here. Kyle Larson plus 150 for a top 3, by the way. That is one that I really consider. It almost made the betting article this week. So anytime I feel like I can get plus money on a Kyle Larson to do anything other than win in terms of position, might be worth a look there. We'll keep moving, though. Ryan Blaney, 15-1, along with Kurt Busch. Those are the shortest odds we've had on Kurt Busch to win a race outright, Zach. I feel like all season, maybe. Brad Keselowski, 16-1. Martin Truex Jr., 18-1. Christopher Bell, 22-1 after his top 3 run last week. William Byron, you said he's in must-win mode here, 25-1, along with teammate Alex Bowman. So we've got, let's see here, we got 7 guys there. We'll keep going, 2, 3 more. Tyler Reddick, 30-1. Ross Chastain, 30-1. Why are those two, I feel like, right next to each other every week? They do that to pit us against each other. Eric Almirola is also 30-1. Those are all your drivers, 30-1 or shorter. Got a guy or two in there that you'd be willing to consider as a value play, perhaps.
Yeah, I mean, Kurt Busch, he won here 3 years ago. 3 years ago, he won this race. I would not count him out. Granted, he has slipped a little bit so far in the playoffs, but he, like his brother, they've won a lot at this track. So why not take a guy who's won here, 8 times? He's won here a lot. I just say that. I think it's 8.
Yeah, he's won once, I think it is, in the last 10 is all. But, I mean, Chip Ganassi has been running well. We've been talking about that. Ross Chastain's even been running well. And I'll do you one better. That line on Kurt Busch, 15-1, that's moved in the last 3 hours. Because when I was writing up a column earlier, he was at 18-1. So he is getting hit hard, I would say, by sharps. Keep that in mind, 15-1. That's still a nice return there on Kurt Busch. And he said it himself last week. He's going to go to Bristol looking to win. I don't think he expected to be where he is in the standings, but I mean, still, he's shown he can run well here and win here in the past. Let's look for maybe a long shot or two here. Austin Dillon, 45-1. Matt Benedetto, 50-1. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., 80-1, along with Bubba Wallace. Daniel Suarez, Cole Custer are both 100-1. Ryan Newman, Chris Buescher, 130-1. Eric Jones and Chase Briscoe, 150-1. Ryan Preece, Michael McDowell. I'm sorry, Ryan Preece is 200-1. Michael McDowell and Corey LaJoy are 250-1. Anthony Alfredo's 500-1. Cody Ware's not in the race this week, Zach, so you got to go somewhere else here for your dollar and a dream. Who's it going to be?
People want to send me money this week? Dang. So, dollar and
David Starr, perhaps?
Dollar and a dream. I mean, why not Michael McDowell? I don't think he's going to win, but his team's going to be throwing everything they can at the wall to try to get this guy to win a race. So why not? I mean, he's got to attempt to stay in the playoffs somehow. I think we both have said he needs to win. Why not?
Yeah. Hey, backs against the wall, 250-1. I don't mind that pick at all. If I got to go with the long shot, though, Zach, it's going to be Daniel Suarez, actually. Here's the thing with Suarez. I would argue Trackhouse Racing Equipment is probably some of the best he's had at the Cup Series level since coming up. In 8 starts as a Cup driver, not in Trackhouse Racing Equipment, obviously, because it's their first year. Suarez has a pair of top 10s, 4 top 15 finishes. 7 of those 8 starts, he's finished 18th or better. So I'm keeping
You do know where he started his career, right?
Where did he start his career?
Joe Gibbs. He drove for that 19 team.
Well, I'm just saying, Truex was in the 19 car when he had those top 10s. Because they were both in 2019.
2019 was when he drove for the 41, so Stewart House. So,
you know how I feel about Stewart House, so I don't know.
Yeah, something's wrong with you.
You don't like Trackhouse? You gonna hit on a dollar and a dream here? It's a dollar and a dream.
Yeah, but don't say Trackhouse is probably his best equipment he's had in Cup when he's driven for 2 premier teams.
I like what they're doing. I don't know. That's just me. I would put them right up there with Stewart Haas, what we've seen this year. Joe Gibbs, that's another story. Maybe I forgot where he started. What are we doing here? Let's go to looking at some place finishes. I have.
I think we need to do race wins. I think we have to pick our winners here because we forgot to do it earlier.
Oh yeah.
Kyle Busch is going to be your race winner this week. He extends his track record of race wins here.
Okay. You're going with the betting favorite. I feel like you do that a lot around here. You got to read the betting article at FlurrySports.org if you want my pick. It's not Kyle Busch, though. I'll say that. I'm not going with the favorite. We don't do that here. Top 10s, that's where I was headed before I was interrupted. Ross Chastain's plus 130 for a top 10 this week, Zach. Back-to-back top 10s. We've talked about how CGR is running. Kurt Busch knows how to run here. I mean, how can you not get behind that, I feel like, at this point? Obviously, his odds have come down a lot from where they were 2 weeks ago when the playoffs started. You with me on this one?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was the one who said put Chastain in your lineup last week. He's going to ride that hot hand. I think you still have to ride that hot hand going into this week because Bristol's a different beast, and Chastain will get it done.
Absolutely. The other one, William Byron, plus 120 for a top 10. What do you think of that? I know you said he's a must-win, but they're going to be throwing everything they have at it. Doesn't have great history at Bristol, though. I was kind of on the fence with this one. Curious to hear your thoughts. I feel like we haven't seen plus money on a Byron top 10 all that often this season, that's for sure.
No, and I don't know. I'm leaning towards no, only because I feel like it's win or bust, and I think Byron and his team are going to be trying everything they can to win. And okay, granted, something goes wrong with Kurt or Bowman early, they're going to try something. Or Emerald. We'll throw Emerald in there too because Emerald's only 3 points up. So they'll end up trying to point their way in. But right now, I don't see it. I think they'll be fine, and he'll have to try to win.
All right, fair enough. Got a head-to-head matchup for you. You'll enjoy this one. I picked it out just for you, Zach.
Will I?
Corey LaJoie is laying some major juice. He's going head-to-head against Anthony Alfredo. LaJoie minus 145 to Alfredo's plus 120. We've got LaJoie and Spire Motorsports. They've been running out of their shoes, it seems like, the past few weeks. Last week, not so much. Against the Cup Series rookie, teammate to current playoff driver Michael McDowell. How much longer he's in the playoffs, we don't know. Alfredo's plus money, though. What are we doing here?
I think you know where I'm going with this.
Are you going to lay that much juice?
I don't.
You're going to lay minus 145?
Yes. There's no way Anthony Alfredo, unless LaJoie gets caught up in a wreck, there's no way Anthony Alfredo outperforms LaJoie.
You're saying absolutely no way?
Unless LaJoie wrecks or has
Is this free money here? Like, should I be going to bet this?
Yes.
Okay. All right. That's why I gave you the prop, see? I kind of wanted you to say Alfredo just so I could, like, totally come back and argue, but couldn't convince you on the plus money.
No.
Smart man.
You could put LaJoie against Cody Ware, and with Cody Ware getting a plus 1,000 or something like that, and you would still not convince me to bet that.
Okay. All right. Noted. Group A this week. Denny Hamlin, your group favorite, plus 165. Chase Elliott, plus 225. Joey Logano, 3-1. Your boy, Kevin Harvick, 4-1. You going with the long shot? You going with your heart? Or you going with, one of these guys has looked really sharp in the playoffs so far. But the return's not there. He's plus 165 for a group. Usually even the favorites are a little longer than that.
Yeah, but it's the 11 car. You have to think that something's there with the JGR. I can't bet against them right now, so I think Hamlin is the group winner there.
Yeah, Logano catches my eye a little bit at 3-1. I like that return, especially considering he's actually a slightly better average finish here at Bristol than Hamlin, and it seems like Logano just puts the Ford thing to shame. Like, he's consistent every week. Harvick's consistent. Logano's consistently more consistent than Harvick in terms of he keeps finishing better, it seems like. So I might take a look at him at 3-1 if you don't want to play the favorite there. But Hamlin, I think it's really hard to go against him. You ready for Group F?
Absolutely.
Group F's a fun one this week, too. We got Cup Series rookie, another one here, Chase Briscoe. He's the group favorite, Zach, at plus 210. He's never run a Cup race on the concrete surface at Bristol because the spring race was on dirt.
Yeah.
So interesting there. Ryan Preece, plus 240. Michael McDowell needs to make something happen, plus 250. There he is. Corey LaJoie, 4-1. Group long shot. Ooh, what do we do?
That plus 400 is really trying to entice me there. Only because Bristol, you could be running a lap down and be caught up with the leaders in a wreck. So, honestly, the more I say it, the more I want to just commit to LaJoie, but I can't. I gotta go with Preece. I think Preece, with the modifieds, he has the short track experience. He knows how to run these type of tracks, and so I think Preece is the way to go.
I wholeheartedly agree. And that one did make the column. So be sure you check it out. The DFS. Zach will have that coming up. I'll have the betting coming up. FlurrySports.org. Check out our full preview picks, you name it, for the Bass Pro Shops night race. Zach, anything else? Because I am not seeing IndyCar Series odds. Yes, I am. For the Monterey Grand Prix, I don't have any driver stats in front of me, but we can run through some of these odds quick. And if you have a pick to win, by all means. Alex Palou, championship points leader, won last week at Portland. He's 5-1. He's your betting favorite. Colton Herta plus 550. Joseph Newgarden 6-1, along with Scott Dixon. Pato Award, runner-up in the point standings as of now, plus 750. Will Power 9-1. Alexander Rossi 14-1. Romain Grosjean 18-1. Graham Rahal, Simon Pagenaud, Felix Rosenquist, Marcus Ericsson are all 20-1. Renus BK 25-1. Everyone else 50-1 or longer. Do you need me to keep going? Are you actually taking a long shot this week? You have a pick to win the IndyCar Firestone Grand Prix of Monterey.
Yeah, we'll go with the guy who's up there. I mean, I'm going to stick away from Herta. I'm going to stick away because Herta is the guy I feel like I pick a lot, especially at road courses here. I'm going to stick away from the points leader of Palou because I feel like that's chalk. According to you, you say pick favorites.
Well, but I will do, so might as well do something else.
I will pick the guy who's in third, Joseph Newgarden. He's right there. He's trying to come back. Why not take a guy who's trying to attempt to come back into the points?
I'm really proud of you. You know why?
Because I didn't take chalk.
You didn't go chalk, and you also took Joseph Newgarden, even though he's listed at the same price as the Kiwi. So not only did you not go chalk, you didn't go with your heart. Well done, Zach McAdoo. That's a golf clap for me. You got anything else? I feel like that was a full show here.
No, but I feel like I got to go crackhead ending just because we're running over for time here.
All right, crackhead ending. This ought to be fun.
All right, subscribe to us at Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Spreaker, wherever you can listen to us at. Don't forget to subscribe to the FlurrySports YouTube so you can watch us, our pretty faces. Follow at Burt Red Racing on Twitter. Follow me at TT McAdoo. Follow him. He's back on there at Henry the Hank. Hank Time Sports? Which one?
Hank Time Henry.
Hank Time Henry. There we go. We have our little section, FlurrySports.org. He's got his articles up there. Mine will be up tomorrow and later before Saturday when the race comes out. Don't forget every Thursday we're here, or Friday if you want to listen to us on Friday. But that should be it. I'm Zach McAdoo. He's Henry John. Good night.
Perfect. This has been episode 27 of Burnt Rubber Racing. See you later.